find resources as he contemplates transferring to a new Division I school.
Hi, Mr. Parrish. I'm considering putting myself in the transfer portal so I can have conversations with coaches at other Division I schools. What should I be thinking about?
Well, there are a few things you should consider. The first is your academic situation and how transferring might impact that. Entering the transfer portal only allows you to talk to other programs. It does not guarantee you will be eligible to compete immediately for another school. Your overall academic record, including your grades, largely determines your ability to compete immediately at another Division I school. Finishing your time at State U academically eligible is essential, regardless of when you enter the transfer portal. If your grades drop off during your final semester, it may jeopardize your ability to compete immediately. Since your current grades impact your ability to compete, your academic performance can also impact the likelihood that other schools will recruit you as a transfer. Failing to finish your time at your current school academically strong can also impact your ability to qualify for an athletic scholarship at the institution to which you plan to transfer.
Okay, that's a good reminder about my grades. I need to continue to focus on my classes so I don't have to worry about whether I can compete at another school should I decide to transfer. Could transferring to a different school impact my degree or career goals? I really like the business classes I'm currently taking.
Yes, potentially. You should be aware that not all Division I schools offer the same degrees, and depending on what schools you consider, the program you're currently pursuing or planning to pursue may not be offered. You also will want to look into the other school's policies for transferring your credits. It is likely that not all the credits you earned at State U will transfer to another Division I school. Typically, the later you transfer as an undergraduate, the larger the number of credits that will not transfer. Your grades also impact whether your credit will transfer. For example, most schools do not transfer credit for grades below a C, which could mean you will have to repeat certain courses at your new school. Because you will probably transfer less credits than what you earned at State U, you may be given the option to change into a different degree program. While changing degrees isn't an issue for all students, you should be aware of this possibility. For some students, changing degrees can decrease academic satisfaction and potentially impact your graduation likelihood. You can ask schools to evaluate your current transcript to try and identify issues you could run into should you decide to transfer. Again, each school has its own transfer policies for credit earned at a different college or university. You may face different eligibility issues depending on where you ultimately choose to enroll. Understanding this should be a consideration to ensure you have the best shot at being both athletically and academically satisfied. Best case scenario, your record to date matches the academic rigor and admissions criteria of the schools you're strongly considering.
That's some good information to consider before I make the ask to go into the transfer portal. What about my current scholarship? Is there anything I need to consider or know about?
Yes, your decision to enter the transfer portal can impact your current scholarship agreement at State U. Specifically, once you request to enter the transfer portal, State U is allowed to cancel your athletics aid agreement as early as the next academic term. Entering the portal may also immediately impact other services that are currently available to you because you're a student-athlete, like being able to study and receive tutoring at State U's Student-Athlete Academic Support Center. I encourage you to look into State U's policies to understand what could change if you enter the transfer portal.
What other factors should I consider before entering the transfer portal?
A few other things are good to think about. First, being on an athletic scholarship at State U does not guarantee another athletic scholarship will be available at different Division I programs. Schools have a maximum number of athletic scholarships they provide in a given sport each year, many of which are already guaranteed to other student-athletes. Also, in most contexts, you must ask to go into the transfer portal within your sport-specific transfer window. A list of those dates can be provided by State U's Athletics Compliance Office and are available on the NCAA website.
Okay, well, what resources are available to me so I can make the best decision?
There are a number of resources available to you. A good and confidential place to start is looking at State U's own Student-Athlete Handbook. NCAA rules require your school to explain the implications of entering the transfer portal in its written policies for student-athletes, so you should definitely access that. In addition to your student-athlete handbook, your compliance administrator is the individual who is most familiar with intricacies of Division I transfer rules and can help talk through the implications of initiating the process. Academic advisors are also great resources who can help you understand your own transcript and identify any potential eligibility implications to consider. Your academic advisor is likely the individual on campus other than you who is most familiar with your academic record and goals. Your school's faculty athletics representative is another good resource to consider. An FAR is a faculty member with expertise outside of athletics who can help student-athletes assess the academic impact of transferring. As mentioned earlier, you also can have your academic record evaluated by the admissions and transfer office staff at other schools before you enter the transfer portal, since these individuals are outside of the athletics department. Individuals in these departments can provide you information on degree offerings, academic services, and other factors that may help you with your decision. Lastly, while this is not always a comfortable conversation to have, it is often a good thing to connect with someone on your current coaching staff prior to making the decision to enter the transfer portal. It is not required that you communicate directly with your coaching staff. However, it may help you feel better about your decision one way or another.
Thanks, Mr. Parrish. Looks like I have a few things to think about before entering the transfer portal. In summary, I need to think about my academic goals and look at my most recent transcript. I want to make sure I don't have any blind spots that could cause issues if I do move forward with going into the transfer portal. I knew about the scholarship impact, but it was good to be reminded about how it worked. As a football student-athlete, I know that I need to make sure I am entering into the transfer portal during my sports transfer window. And it's good to be reminded that much of the information specific to how this affects me at State U is explained in my student-athlete handbook.
Well, I hope some of this was helpful and helps you reflect upon why you want to transfer, and whether transferring will help you achieve both your immediate and more long-term goals.
We hope the information presented will be helpful as you contemplate entering the NCAA transfer portal. You may return to review the material presented in the module at any time.